Hello, welcome to this month's edition of Around the Burg. I'm Dick Church, and this month we're going to take you into a new business. But when I say new business, it's really an old business that has located here in Miamisburg at 721 Richard Street. We're here at the Gayston Corporation. With me are the partners of this new business here in Miamisburg. Adam Stone, who is on my right, and Andrew Sheldrick. And before we get into that, you guys earlier, before we started taping, I asked you, both being young and having a business such as this, give me your background. Your partners, where did you meet at?
Sure. So I met Andrew at Stetson University in Florida. I grew up in the Dayton area my whole life. Actually played post 165 baseball when I was a kid, and chasing great weather. Went to school in Florida. Met Andrew there, who was from Kenya, Africa. Became good friends. We had started some businesses in college as well. In the summers, we'd come back and work at my father's business, which he owned previous to us. And after college, got an opportunity to come back and work for him, starting at the very bottom, learn the business, and here we are.
Okay. And Andrew?
Started a career in Ohio. I wasn't chasing good weather when I moved from Florida and Africa, but it's been a rewarding experience. Learned a lot. Had the opportunity to work for Adam's father, who was an excellent mentor. Taught Adam and I a lot about the business, and we look at this moving to Miamisburg as the next phase of our business. We were in Dayton. Adam's father in the business in Dayton, moved it to Springboro in 1987, I think. Had a really good run in Springboro. We sold a portion of the business in 2012, and the move to Miamisburg is kind of like the next chapter of the story. So we're excited about it.
Well, fine. Glad to have you, and I'm glad that this friendship has grown over the years and has developed into a great business here in Miamisburg. So
we're happy to be here.
Okay. What products do you manufacture here at Gayston?
So fairly wide range. We have a commercial division and a defense division right now. Commercial is 60, defense is about 40. In the commercial side, we have a wide range of stored gas products. So we're the largest supplier of paintball cylinders in the world. Aluminum, composite, high pressure air, CO2. We do baseball bats and softball bats, which we're pretty well known for in the area. And then on the defense side, we do mortar fins. So we have 60 millimeter, 81 millimeter, and looking at 120 millimeter as well.
One of our goals for the business is, and we were taught this from the very beginning, one of the reasons Gayston just celebrated its 64th anniversary. And diversity is critical as a manufacturer. There are all kinds of economic trends in the world that bring certain segments up and other segments down. And you got to be able to ride those waves. And so one of our goals is always diversifying our product line so that we're able to ride those waves. And we've got some new product lines. We're working on a chilled dog bed, for example. Just another layer of diversity for us to make sure, one, we can grow the business so we can support all of our employees, and ride any economic waves that might come our way.
And if you look at the diversity, we've got commonality across all our products, primarily all aluminum. We do a lot of the finishing in-house, so a lot of what we ship, we take in raw stock and it leaves ready for retail. So we're kind of a one-stop shop. But across those product divisions, we've got a lot of diversity within them. So it's all aluminum, but we're in a lot of different markets within the stored gas cylinder business. We're in a lot of different markets in the defense side. So we try to keep our hands in a lot of different segments of the market so we can, ride changes in the industry, customers being fickle and going overseas, different economic conditions, and we've so far been pretty well positioned to accommodate those changes as they've occurred.
It's likely that if you go into Dick's Sporting Goods and you see a bat on the shelf, it's very possible that that's shipped directly from here. It wasn't our name. We don't brand our own products. We make them for other people. But it's likely that we put the UPC code on that's going straight out to the store. So
and that helps with the pride of the employees. It connects the employee to the product. When you're sending something directly to a store, that's meaningful to the person, because their kid might be buying that bat, or they may have a cousin that plays paintball. So they understand the quality of the product, how it looks, and that it represents our company well is important, because it's actually leaving in its final state.
How do you market all these products? Do you have a team that does that, or?
You know, our business is so unique. The process is, you know, I'd mentioned to you earlier, we're the only United States-based aluminum bat manufacturer, which people always find shocking, but
I did.
Yeah. You know, consumer goods primarily come from China today. So for a company to be in the United States and make a product like that is very unique. So a lot of our marketing is done via the fact that we're so unique in our processes, our impact extrusion, our decorating, things of that nature drive our customers to us versus us really having to go out and try to grab them. You know, specifically on the cylinder side, we are known in the industry as a very high volume cylinder manufacturer. So it's really amazing between just our website and word of mouth, the amount of traffic we get for people who want us to make custom products for them.
Okay. I guess one of the things our listeners may like to hear, you started in Dayton and then Springboro. What made you choose Miamisburg? What brought you here?
Want to take that?
Yeah, it was kind of an evolution. So we were in Springboro. We sold a portion of our business to General Dynamics in 2012. And with that sale, we basically relieved ourselves of the building and the acreage that we owned in Springboro. So at that point, we had to say, you know, well, let's find a new home. We had a very quick transition out of that facility, so we moved into a lease space in Springboro. And our goal was obviously always to find a facility that we could own and develop into something that would be our final resting home. Looked all over the area. We looked at Monroe, we looked up as far as Beaver Creek, we looked in Dayton, we looked at Kettering. I mean, you name it, we looked. And this building came available, and actually through the help of a lot of interaction with the city, we got access to the facility, learned a lot about its history, and it looked like a really good fit for us. It was vacant, I think, since about 2006, so there's a lot of work that needed to be done.
Sure.
It was a very industrial space before we moved into it, so from a modernization standpoint, we had our work cut out for us. But we came here, fell in love with the city, very community-driven environment, had really good support from the city as far as incentivizing us financially to invest in the area, move jobs here. So it made the decision easy. Once we found the real estate and the backdrop of your guys' support to facilitate our move here, it was a very quick transition. So I think we purchased it in January of 2014, and by December we were fully moved. And you know, when you look at the amount of renovation that had to happen over that time period and the amount of equipment that had to move, it was a lot of work to get done in a fairly short period of time, and we had to keep running and supporting our customers throughout that. So
I know you guys gave me a walkthrough before, and I saw this large equipment. That was one of the questions I asked you out there. How do you get this here and so quick? And over a 2-month period, though, but it's still, those are big machines.
we have a phenomenal group of technical support here. I mean,
bet you
our
do.
employees who manage that move, you know, where they were working 7 days a week, they were working
Right.
really long days, and did an outstanding job of getting us to the point that we are today without shutting down our customers. But yeah, we did it in stages. We
Sure.
moved the line at a time. We scheduled it all out. We shut down on Friday, and we're up again running by Monday. And we just kind of stair-stepped that across all our product lines and tried to minimize the disruption to the customer. But you know, our technical team really managed that and did an excellent job.
Without our dedication from our employee level, it would never been possible.
Talking about employees, how many do you have?
So we have around 80 employees today. You know, we coming here, when we moved here, we were around 65 to 70. We have plans for one of the adjacent buildings to bring that online, which is going to take us up near 100 employees. So we're on a nice growth trajectory. And again, the facility really gave us the ability to do it. You know, going back to the building, we needed a place that was not too big that we couldn't handle it out of the gate, but big enough that we could grow. And this was a perfect opportunity for us. You know, between the high bay ceilings that the building had and some of the adjacent buildings, which gave us some opportunities we would have never had in the past. It's been an exciting year.
You told me that you've hired 10 Miamisburg residents?
That is correct. One of our goals was to involve the community in us coming here. And one of those included hiring people from Miamisburg and the adjacent neighborhood that we're in. The location of this building is unique because it's very close to a neighborhood. And so in order to get the support of the neighborhood, we wanted to be able to bring some of the residents into the team. And we've done that. It's been an excellent transition, and we couldn't be happier. We hope to double that number in the next 6 months.
What are your long-term plans being here in the city?
We have there's two sides to that. From a facility standpoint, there are a lot of things we still want to do to improve the facility, make it a true campus for our employees. From a lot of outdoor spaces that we want to create where they can enjoy lunch in the afternoon. And then also we want to continue to involve ourselves more in the community. We want to hire more from Miamisburg. We want to continue to grow our business so that we can grow that Miamisburg headcount. And then, we also, we touched on a little bit as well, is that, Miamisburg has supported us. And so we want to support them. And we love the downtown of Miamisburg. As a group, we all spend a lot of time down there, whether we're getting our hair cut, we're going to the gym, we're eating at Ms. Pickles. We're trying, and we're really not having to try. We just love to go there and support the businesses. There's a new coffee shop there that we love.
Right.
So it's we have never had that before, and we're really enjoying it.
Well, great. Beside your current line, do you have anything planned for the future, other products?
We do. I think, one of our strategies, and it's a must for us, is you look at us injecting energy into this city and trying to do some improvements to the outside of the facility. To do all that stuff, we have to have a viable business.
Sure.
And growth has always been a part of our strategy. I think in the last year, we've 30% growth in the last 12 months. We see similar growth over the next 12 months. What we're seeing as far as the opportunities in front of us right now, and we've got some new lines that are launching actually as we speak, is adjacent markets leveraging our current technical ability. So we've got a new cylinder line that we're starting for a customer that's in a different market than we're currently operating in, but one that we've got experience with and the background to execute well on. So that's a huge opportunity for us. We're excited about it, and you'll learn more about that as we go through the facility. But we see our defense business strengthening over the next 12 months. With the environment overseas right now, and you look at the U.S.'s strategy to deal with the global challenges, there's a heightened need for some of the weapons that we support, and so we see our volume in those areas growing. And then we look at the business that our legacy business, our paintball business, our baseball bat business is stable. So we see that as a solid foundation, and we see incremental growth in some new areas that are exciting. And I think those plans and those opportunities are what's going to allow us to do the things that we need to do to make ourselves the contributor to the community that we expect to be.
What can you tell us about the defense business?
The defense business, there's been an interesting transition. Obviously coming from two significant wars, the defense business was at very high volumes. When those wars ended, the volumes came down significantly, which was a business challenge for us. We had to, and again, back to that diversity piece, you have to make sure you have other products that can support your business. Today, the strategy has become that the United States will support our allies in sending weapons to them to fight their own battles. And it's an interesting concept, one that has helped the defense business, but not necessarily supporting war. There's a difference. We want to keep the world safe, and we're glad we can play a role in that. And we see upside in the defense business in not just supplying our own troops, but supplying other countries to help fight the battle.
Right. What's the most enjoyable part of your business? And then I'm sure there's some challenging parts to it.
So every day is something new. You know, one of the things that we love about our business is that we're in a wide range of markets, right? So we get exposure to a lot of different industries, which means exposure to a lot of different problems as well. But it's exciting work. You know, we have a lot of our employees are 30-plus year employees. You know, they were with the business with Adam's father, so we have a really good legacy of support, and we're able to touch a lot of different industries, which we like. One of the things we pride ourselves on is, you know, to be a viable manufacturer in the U.S. now, there's a huge challenge of keeping things onshore, right? Everyone's shifting things to low-cost offshore solutions, and our value as a company, as a manufacturer, comes in our ability to solve customer problems innovatively. So we offer product solutions that the offshore sources may not be able to solve for. And we also are able to respond much more quickly than they are because we're domestic, our shipping costs are lower, our inventory carrying costs are much lower, and we're able to get product to our customers in a faster way than someone in the Far East would, for example. So from a enjoyment standpoint, every day's a fresh set of challenges, and you look at the markets that we're in, the growing opportunities that we have ahead of us, we're able to dabble in a lot of industries that some companies who are one-dimensional don't get to do. And then from a challenge perspective, it's just making sure that we remain viable. And we do that by continuing to be forward-thinking in how we solve customer problems and making sure that we're aggressive in managing what their challenges are, which are long lead times from the Far East, just-in-time inventory, and a partner they can communicate with that's ethical, and making sure that we, you know, maintain those standards that provide the value in the first place.
Okay, guys, we're out now in the shop, one of the buildings of your operation here. Can you give me an idea of what's going on behind me here?
Sure. So, you know, as we talked about earlier, one of our hallmarks is that we tend to manage product from infancy to completion. So we take fairly raw stock and we do a variety of forming operations on it. Generally generate a cylindrical type shape, either whether it's a baseball bat or a cylinder or a defense product. It generally takes the shape of a cylinder. We perform that forming, and then we also do subsequent secondary operations like machining, milling, coating. We do powder coating, painting, decorating, decaling, clear coating. And generally, when product leaves our facility, it's gone through some assembly processes as well. So we'll put in accessories or components that are needed for it to function in its end state, whether that's a valve in the case of a CO2 cylinder, a regulator in the case of a high pressure air. We put UPC stickers on the product. We package it so it's ready for retail. So what we'll do when we walk through all these processes, we'll show you how product starts. We'll show you some examples of our forming steps of how we generate from that raw stock the shape of a cylinder. And then we'll show you how we transition that cylindrical shape into a finished good that we can sell at retail.
Adam, where are we at now here?
So here's where the majority of all of our products start. We bring in bars that are 180 inches long, and we cut each product into an engineered slug. This slug will be the exact amount of aluminum needed to make the final product. This is done for every product line that we have. So every piece of aluminum in this building either ends up in a finished product or ends up getting recycled, which then makes it full circle and comes back to us in another bar. So the great thing about aluminum is very recyclable material. Every week aluminum scraps are picked up, sent back to the smelter, which becomes aluminum all over again, and we start over the process.
Now, Andrew, this is what we saw over there.
So again, you know, we started with a long billet of aluminum. We cut it into that shape, and this is kind of a very good example of what we call impact extrusion. So we're taking a slug, and in one hit, we're using a 500-ton press. We generate this shape. So you can see it's cylindrical, right? It's got a hollow inside. And the primary benefit of this is it's a really, really efficient way to generate a near net shape condition. So, you know, rather than starting with a big solid piece of aluminum and then boring all that out and profiling all this shape on the outside, you start with this small piece of aluminum, and in one hit you've generated that shape, which is really close to the final product shape. it's a really efficient way to get there and a very low cost way to get there because you're leveraging the movement of metal as opposed to significant processing to get the shape.
Okay. Now this machine here is one of 5, I think you told me you're going to have. So you've got 4 more to come. And
so there's a lot of work that goes into getting that machine in place. You know, it's almost as tall as the 30-foot ceiling that it's under, or that it's in. There's a basement system below this that we had to construct that manages the hydraulic system underneath there that gets that part out once it's been formed. And it's an isolated pad and a lot of reinforcement down there. So a lot of work both on the rigging side and the facility prep side went into getting this machine in place. And like you said, we got 4 more to go.
How many of these will he produce in a...
Generally in an 8-hour shift, he runs about 1,500 to 2,000 of those. You know, it's interesting too, that part comes off that press really hot. So
I would imagine.
It goes in, you know, it's all cold extrusion. There's no extra heat applied, but just the force and the energy created when you move that metal that quickly, it comes out about 300 degrees.
You can tell the gloves he's got on. Now, Adam, tell me, what's Rob going to be doing here?
So we use a couple different technologies to close our bottle. So you saw impact extrusion. The next key is to close it so it becomes a cylinder. This particular technology is called metal spinning. And metal spinning uses heat and a wheel. And what you'll notice is it's almost moving aluminum like pottery. It's a pretty amazing technology. Rob, do you want to go ahead and kick off the cycle? You'll notice this wheel forming the aluminum.
Oh yeah.
And the wheel's there to take away some of the friction. So we will actually close this cylinder down to the point that we can pressurize it once this operation is complete. It always amazed me at how easy you can move aluminum with heat.
That's amazing.
Once it's done in this operation, it'll be ready for heat treat where we embark its final mechanical properties.
Okay. Rob, can you hand me one of the finished, what you're doing?
So he's turning one of these and he's closing this bottom down.
Yeah, okay.
And when it comes out, it's extremely warm, as you can imagine.
I can see his, and this is really the finished product.
Yeah, is that hot?
It's a little bit warm.
Yeah, you got to be careful around here what you grab, for sure.
Yeah.
We will later embark some additional machining processes which clean up that bottom and accept the threaded port.
Well, thank you, Rob. Okay, now Andrew, we're in the defense area now. Show me what some of the products you do here.
So as we talked earlier, you know, we're a significant player in the mortar fin business. We're in the middle of a 5-year contract right now on a couple different styles of mortar fins. What I have in my hand right now is a 60mm mortar. So this is one of the few products that we manufacture that we're actually not extruding the raw stock. So we buy the material in its raw form, which in the case of this mortar fin is a star-shaped extrusion. And then we convert that star-shaped extrusion into a 60mm mortar fin. So we basically profile those fins off. We do a lot of machining work. We do some bending of the fin blades to give them the correct angle so that its flight pattern is proper. And this is right now a fairly high volume product for us. And again, one of 2 types of mortar fins that we manufacture currently under a 5-year contract.
What you see back here, a lot of testing goes into this product to make sure that when the warfighter uses it works the way it's intended. So there are a lot of redundancies and safeties built into this process that keep our fighters safe.
You know, one thing I don't think we've talked about before, but we have resident quality assurance inspectors from the government. So we have a presence from the Department of Transportation, where they have inspectors that are housed in our facility. And we also have what they call QARs, that are managed by the Department of Defense that come in and inspect product prior to us shipping it. So we have a fairly close communication and relationship with the government because we're involved with these types of products.
Now, Adam, where the cylinders are manufactured.
Right. So this is what we call our hydro tester. So every cylinder that we manufacture goes through 100% pressure test. And this pressure test ensures that there's a high level of safety between what the cylinder is capable of holding versus what it'll ever be used for in the field. These cylinders, after they go through this test, all the data is stored by this hydro tester computer, which then translates to a serial number that's stored on each cylinder. So when you purchase a cylinder, on the neck of the cylinder is a serial number that traces back to when this cylinder was tested and at what pressure it was tested. Just another level of safety that is incorporated into this process.
Adam, where are we at now?
So we talked about, we use a couple different technologies for closing down cylinders. We showed you spinning. This is what we call rollover. This is using heated dies that form the top into a neck that we're able to thread, and so we can install that valve in it. Because of the heat associated, this robot maintains these two presses, keeps them loaded, and outbounds to this conveyor.
Now, Andrew, this is a different type cylinder, a smaller one?
It is. So we make a wide range of sizes. This happens to be a 9-ounce cylinder. You can see that we've got brand information on it now. We've powder coated it black. We've installed what we call a valve, which is where it would attach to the paintball marker.
Right.
And we talked earlier, you know, we control a lot of our own manufacturing processes in-house. So while this started as a slug, by the time it's finished through our system, it's literally ready for a retail shelf. It'll have a UPC sticker on it, it'll be bagged, and it'll be ready to ship directly to whatever retail outlet it's going to be sold from.
Andrew, explain to me where we're at now here.
So this is another example of a paintball cylinder, different style. You know, we looked at the small 9-ounce, which was a purely aluminum cylinder. This is what's called a composite cylinder. So it's carbon and glass wrapped. And we have an aluminum liner that we manufacture, which is very light. And then we reinforce that aluminum liner with carbon filament and glass filament. And so the effect of that is you get a very, very high strength cylinder that can hold a great deal of pressure, but it's very light. So from a consumer standpoint, they have a lot of capacity of air that they can use to propel a paintball, but they don't have the load of a really thick-walled aluminum, you know, heavy, robust cylinder to lug around the field.
Okay.
So as an example, this cylinder here, in its aluminum state, bursts at about 2,000 psi. When you add this filament winding to it and cure that and bake that on there, it bursts at about 18,000 psi for very, very, very little increase in weight. So you get a huge increase in strength, but it's still a really lightweight, highly transportable cylinder that's really popular in the paintball field. So this would be considered a premium paintball cylinder.
What's the best way to get in touch with you guys? Internet? Phone?
Yeah, I'd say to go to our website. Gives a good variety of the different products that we manufacture. Gives contact information, and that's www.gayston.com. That's GAYSTON.com.
We'll put that on the screen too.
Excellent.
Yeah, one other thing is we're always hiring, and there's a really clean way to put your name in for employment application on the website. So if you're interested, there's a join page that you could populate your name and information. We'll reach out and contact you.
It's been great touring the business today. I've been quite impressed. And I hope that our listeners have been impressed as we took a tour of the Gayston Corporation. You know, I always say there are great things happening in Miamisburg, and our business community makes those great things happen. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. I'm Dick Church, and I'll see you around the Burg.